PokerStatic.com. We bring you the interviews you want to hear. Now with your hosts, Bret Oliverio and Eric Bickel, the Poker Static Hot Seat.
What's up? Thanks for checking out the Poker Static Hot Seat. Joining us on today's show, you know him as SlowHabit. You know him from dailyvariance.com. It's Nguyen. What's up, Tree?
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
Of course, man. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Where are you now? You were just in Vegas, weren't you?
Yeah, I was in Vegas. I ended up partying a little too hard and played some events, played some poker. Got really tired, and I learned my lesson from last year, where near the end of the event, my body was like breaking down. I didn't play very well in the main event,
right?
So I just booked a plane ticket in the last minute and just flew home for like 3 days. And
well, let me call you out on this, because I was reading your blog, and last year you sort of had the same problem. You know, you get to Vegas, you go crazy partying, bottle service, drinking too much. And you sort of sleep on the World Series of Poker, and you said this year things are going to change. But then you go down there and
well, last year I played like 1 or 2 events. So this year I played at least 2, so it's like a 50% improvement already.
Okay.
But when I fly back, I'll probably play at least like 3 or 4 more to end a series on a good note, hopefully. I think I do pretty well in live events, so I'm pretty confident about my chances.
Now, Bret, before we really get going in this, I know you have a lot of his bio information. For people that are new maybe to the site and they aren't familiar with a lot of his work, you're looking at right now and you're listening to one of the leading publishing moguls in the poker world right now. This guy, he doesn't want to admit this, but he is almost single-handedly taking on 2+2 Publishing with all of his works, and he's only got 4 or 5 that he's come out with so far, but they're tremendously influential, I think, in the poker world. The biggest one that I know about, of course, is Let There Be Range, the work that you did with Cole South. But why don't you talk about some of the other books, Bret, at least just as a sort of an intro?
Well, of course, there's Let There Be Range, and then you have the PLO book, transitioning from No Limit Hold'em to PLO. I guess it teaches players how to crush the small and mid-stakes PLO games. And he also wrote the No Limit Hold'em workbook, Exploiting Regulars, which to me is impossible, and the Poker Blueprint, which was co-authored by Aaron Davis. So, I mean, he's just got, it seems like he's got a ton of books, and the books he does have, they're on great topics. I mean, like, people, Eric, you and I have been talking about this off there a lot over the last 6 months. How do we transition from Hold'em to PLO?
Right.
Boom, Tree comes out with a book from it.
Right. And what's so
about it, you know?
And what's so different about Tree, and we'll let him explain all of this though, but just is that these are all like ebooks, and this is premium. This is not something like where you just go to Barnes & Noble and you get a $9, Phil Gordon book. No. These are premium books. Some of these, frankly, you have to be darn near, I don't want to say a world class, but you got to be a really high stakes player in a lot of ways to even make this book valuable for you. Isn't that right, Tree, or no?
Yeah, well, majority of it is geared towards small stake and mid stake. I think the original one, Let There Be Range, was geared towards more high stake back when we did it like a year and a half ago.
Right.
Yeah. But for the book on transitioning from from No Limit to PLO, I think that one is applicable to any No Limit player that wants to learn PLO. It's a lot of fundamentals in there.
What was the idea when Let There Be Range first came out? What was the retail price on that at first?
The retail price was $1,850.
1,850.
Yes.
Right. That's sick. I love it. I love that you do that, because you say, okay, I don't know, I don't need to sell 1 million books. I might only sell, I don't know, 1,000, whatever it is. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And there was a market for that. How do you go about determining these prices, and how does all of that factor out? How does that come about?
I think originally when we came up with that price, it's based on what the cost is for personal coaching. Like back then I think Cole was charging like 1,500 per hour just to coach his students. And I know he have a long waiting list. I was charging around like 300 something for per hour as well. So we decided to price it at a high price just because we feel that anybody that read from the book will probably learn way more than 1 hour or 2 hours with Cole. And it became a success. And a lot of people were talking about it, so we get free marketing, free mouth of word, because just the price is so high and it never been done before.
Right.
And so that's what happened with that book. But my majority of our book is geared towards like students who want to improve their game, can afford coaching, but don't really want to shell out a lot of money for coaching. So our book is like 1 hour of coaching. And I actually made a prop bet. Well, I issue a prop bet that anybody that do not believe that our book is worth it, well, what they can do is we can just pick 2 random player. One of them get the coaching, and one player read the book. And after like a certain amount of hours, we'll see which player learn more. And none of the coaches took the offer. So,
wow.
And it's been standing for like a year and a half, 2 years already. So and anybody can do it. So I'm game.
All right, Tree, let's sort of start from the beginning, because you haven't exactly had, like, the most privileged life. I mean, now you're going to Vegas for the World Series, you're writing books, you got your own publishing company. It seems like, okay, I mean, this guy has everything going on, but you sort of started from the ground up, and talk a little bit about your family story, making it to the United States, buying your family a home. Just sort of start from the beginning.
Well, my family, we left Vietnam when I was 5. And we actually left on a boat, which is like I think like about like 20 people. It's a really beat down boat. We were actually stranded in the middle of the ocean during a storm, and somehow, some way we got pushed to shore, and the Hong Kong government they locked us up, and I was there for 4.5 years. So I was there from 5 to like 9 or 10, and we just stayed in like one bunk bed for like 5 years.
Oh.
And yeah.
Do you remember this? Do you remember the boat ride? Do you remember sort of coming up on shore?
I remember the boat ride. I remember coming on shore. I remember the stories in Hong Kong as well. I mean, for me, I think when I was 5 to 9, it is like an age where I don't really care. So I don't have to go to school. I was running around playing a lot. So I didn't care too much. But looking back for my parents, it's really tough just because they're older and you got stuck in one place for like 4.5 years. That's pretty tough, and eating like the same food over and over again every day, and that's it. And
what were the living conditions? You said you all were sort of piled in bunk beds.
Yeah, we the living condition is what they would do is they would set up like a big warehouse, like one of those storage houses, and then each family would get a bunk bed, and all the bunk beds would line up to each other. So on the floor you could have like I think around like 100 families, because there's like triple bunk bed. So each family will stay in their one space, which is like the size of your bed. That's it. That's all we had. And the bunk bed is not like a real bed. It's like a piece of wood. So,
wow.
Yeah, it's like at that time I didn't think too much about it, but looking back, it's really some crazy condition.
Right.
And they did for like 4.5 years, which is pretty crazy to me.
And then how do you ultimately get out of there? How did they ultimately let you leave?
What happened is there's too many people wanting to go to the United States or Canada or other countries, so you have to take like a test where they interview you to see if you deserve to get out that camp. And my parents basically passed because my dad was a veteran who fought for the U.S. government. So I guess we have like an edge on the rest of the field. So we got to go to the United States. But yeah. And a lot of people would turn away and they have to go back to Vietnam, which is like really, really sad. Because you basically wasted like 5 years of your life in that camp.
Right. Oh, cannot imagine.
So what happened? So what happens? You just roll up to the United States? I mean, where did you land? I mean, do you guys have any money? Where did you stay?
No. Oh, we'd have money. My parents are like the bravest people. So here's what happened. We were in Hong Kong, like the camp, like off like a random island. When we finally left the place, we got sponsored by like a church group in Alabama. And when we landed in Alabama, it was a very depressing sight because, you know, we were waiting like 4.5 years and everybody talked about how beautiful America is. So when we landed in Alabama, it's not really like the greatest the greatest image. And then because the group was really poor, so we get to live like in the ghetto in Alabama. And we lived there, and my parents looked around, and they were like, this is not what we want to do.
Right.
So after a month in Alabama, my parents basically like borrowed $200. They have nothing at this point, like $0. We borrowed like $200 from his friend, took Greyhound like 3 straight days from Alabama all the way to San Jose, California. No English, just like randomly just pack your bag up and go. And the only city I remember was ironically Las Vegas because of the bright lights when we went across the desert. That was it. That's the only thing I remember of the trip.
Wow.
And we were living in San Jose, and like our family was living in like 1 bedroom we were like sharing with another family or something. We were living in 1 bedroom with 4 other people, just sleeping on the carpet. And I think half a year later we moved down to Southern California because it's easier to find jobs down here for my parents. And that's until I left for college. So when we left for college, it's a little better. And then when I went to college, I found poker. So
hold on. So hold on a second. What jobs did your parents do? What sort of work were they able to do?
A popular job among the Vietnamese community is for female is seamstress, where they sew like regular clothes, like the clothes that you're wearing right now, may be made by one of the shops in the community.
Right.
So that's what my mom did. My dad was going to college, and he eventually got like a certified nursing assistant certificate. So he ended up working like in the graveyard shift, and so he was raising up on that, and we were in welfare for a bit too.
Wow.
Because we didn't have any money, and but you just suck it up and you grind through it. That's all you can do. You can't really do anything else.
Right, and you didn't just go.
This is the perfect Busto to Robusto story, right?
Yeah,
here.
you're not kidding. And you didn't just go to college. I mean, you went to Cal Berkeley. So you get this late start. You come over here basically Busto. Your parents are grinding. They're working a graveyard shift, and you're learning a new language. And how are you getting great grades? I mean, how does that happen? How do you get to Berkeley?
I did have a great. I got like I think probably like a 4.0 something in high school.
Wow.
But here's the funny thing. It's like when you that busto, you don't know you busto. You think like, man, I'm living the life. Like you don't know because when you busto, all you know is other busto people, and you live in a busto community. So you think like everybody's life is like yours.
Right.
It's just that when you get out that community, when you get out that environment, then you realize, man, I was like definitely busto. But you don't know that. Even when I was in college, I was definitely busto in college too. But you don't know that because all you know when you busto, busto people.
Right.
So you don't know. And so I was pretty cool with it. I did get my grades, went to Berkeley, and I was at Berkeley for like 3.5 years because I just stayed there for the summer, finished up my school because I'm not really a fan of school.
Right.
So I want to get out as soon as possible. So that's what I did. I just took a lot of summer school, took a lot of classes, and graduate, and then went back. And during this time, I got into like poker, and I play a little bit, and then make a good amount of money. And when I came back, and then the living condition wasn't very good, so we just bought a house and get out of there.
Now I know that when you started playing Tree, you actually started playing and winning fairly quickly, and we've talked to you about this before.
Yeah.
And I believe did you start at like 2-4 or something? You didn't mess around. You didn't like start at the 25-cent, 50-cent games, did you?
No, I just started at 2-4, and the idea of bankroll management doesn't exist to me. Like I don't know the concept. Not because I didn't want to follow it. I just don't know it exists. And that's why like every time I talk to like new players now, they always tell me they grind like 1 cent, 2 cents, or 10 cents, 20 cents. I just think that it kind of prevent the growth a little bit, just because what's there to do down there? Like you just learn the same concept that you learn at 25 cents, 50 cents, and it's not that much money at that point. Like if you were to like bust that bankroll, you can just reload $50. But if you were to make it, you make so much more money at 1, 2, 2, 4 that it's probably better to press the edges like in the beginning stages.
Right.
That's what I would advise everyone to do.
Right.
I was broke. I was fine. So.
The other thing that I know that you've said in other interviews and that you've said with us before was that when you first started playing too, you noticed this very simple concept that you would just bet and people would fold. And it was just sort of like unbridled aggression was sort of the key to your growth. And, you know, obviously the games have changed, but talk about how aggression was sort of the foundation for your game.
I really don't know how to explain it. It's just that when you bet, people fold. I mean, even nowadays, in some games where aggression just went to in PLO, for example, when a game is relatively new and you're facing a lot of aggression, you put people in a lot of uncomfortable spots. So they just choose the safe route, which is to fold, because they wouldn't know how to react to it. I think as PLO become more well-known, people how to learn more about equity between hands, how, like, if you bet all the time you don't have a hand, then people play back at you, then you can't get away with aggression as much. But even with PLO, I think even right now in the in the lower stakes, you can probably get away with a lot of aggression. Just bet. Anytime you're confused, just bet. Because people will find a reason to fold.
Right.
Yeah, because it's very difficult to lead hand in PLO more than Hold'em.
Right.
And they just choose the more safe side.
Now, how did you make, and I want to get from that transition, okay, so you're starting to play, you play at 2-4, you start crushing, you're just, betting and betting, whatever, that style's working, you start moving up. Yeah. At what point do you get into publishing, and then at what point do you sort of make the transition into PLO? Did you do that before? What came first, publishing the books or, like, playing other games?
I think publishing an initial book and transitioning is kind of like almost the same process. Well, initially, I don't want to play poker for the rest of my life. I just think that you make more money running businesses. So after 2 years of playing poker, I actually stopped playing for a while and start learning how to invest in the stock market. And the stock market was running hot, so I thought I was one of the best. But it's all variance. But I didn't know that. I just man, I got this down. There's no way I can't beat this game.
Right.
And of course the stock market crashed, and then I lost back the winnings, and then I lost a few more. And after that, I got back into poker again. And when I got into poker again, I started coaching and then playing as well. And when we did the initial book, we got a good amount of success on it. So I ended up learning more games just to want to publish more books.
Right.
And now we have a publishing company.
Yeah, for sure. A publishing company is going to be reckoned with for years to come. There's no question about it. Here's the thing that's so amazing, to me, is as we're hearing your story and this rags to riches thing. You jump into the 2-4 games. I mean, I haven't played 2-4 online in my life. I've been playing for 5 or 6 years, and I haven't even got to that level. You start there. I love that though. You're bold. Okay. You went and you did that, and then you killed it and you advanced, and then you say, you know what? I'm going to write a book, which I love this. And I'm going to contact CTS. I'm going to contact Cole South, one of the best players in the world, and I'm going to see if he wants to co-author with me. I mean, the balls that you have are ridiculous. I mean, how did you get that? You know what I mean? I mean, I wouldn't have the balls. I don't think Bret would have the balls. I just call up Phil Galfond and say, Phil, you know what? Let's write a book together. I mean, how do you have that courage to do that?
Well, no. I mean, I think it was just I want to say it's all me, but it's also random luck too. Especially if you have a good product in your hand already, it's not that difficult to get another person to cooperate with you. Whereas if you don't have anything and you say, hey, let's do this together, you're gonna get rejected 99.9% of the time.
Right.
But if you have something in your hand already and he reads it, he likes it, then he's going to be in partnership with you.
Yeah, but how did you know you had a good product? You had the self-confidence. I'm amazed by your confidence.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, what's the worst thing that happened? I find another guy. I mean.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
so was Cole sort of on the top of your mind as far as poker players that you wanted to sort of jump into this book? Is what?
Yeah.
Or were there other players that you were thinking about?
Just probably Cole. The other person I was actually thinking of is David Benefield, who's Raptor.
Yes.
I think it was during 2007, during 2008, where Raptor was really, really hot in the poker community. So that's why I wanted to find him for the partnership. But Raptor is busy with his school and stuff, so I contact Cole instead. And Cole's actually the second person I contact. I think that was it.
You realize what a stroke of genius that was, Bret? he goes, okay, I'm going to take the hottest name in poker, and I'm going to take my manuscript, which I believe in, and then I'm going to charge, I'm going to charge $1,800 for the book. Everyone's going to be, just sort of obsessed with the price, and they're going to give me free publicity for it. I mean, it was just, the whole thing was a stroke of genius. I'm amazed by it.
Yeah, that was I guess that was indirect intention, but it works out well.
Eric, let's do some simple math here, okay? So he charges $1,850 a book,
right?
And I was thinking this, I was just thinking, I was like, okay, maybe what if he charges $1,000 for a book? 300 people buy it. That's 300 G's.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of businesses don't make 300 G's in a year.
Right.
I mean,
it's brilliant.
It's so sick. It is, for sure. And the brilliant part about it is the people that are buying it are getting their money's worth as well.
Right.
So
a lot of people are very happy with the content.
Brett and I are coming up with we're coming up with a $5,000 book on video casting and
there you go.
Faking like you know anything about poker. We're going to come up with that book, and we're just going to get 10 people to buy it, and then that's it. Good.
It's going to be part coloring book, too.
Yeah, no, I mean, it probably work. I mean, if you guys do, like, how to make money doing podcasts or something, and then just charge whatever amount that you want to charge, I mean, it probably work. You probably get some copies sold.
Right. It's insane.
But all right, Tree, so I'm interested. So you start making a lot of money. Yeah. When did you realize, at what point were you like, wow, I'm not Busto anymore. Maybe I should start looking for a home or ship my parents some of this money?
I actually never really think about, even when I got the money, I didn't really think about like, oh, I'm not Busto anymore. My mind just, it doesn't work like that, I guess. When we got the money, the first thing I wanted to do is to buy my parents a home, just because, that's like the American dream of immigrants coming to the United States. And also the neighborhood that we live in was very dangerous. So I was away for 3.5 years, so I didn't know how bad it became when I come back. So when I come back, I got a story on that too. It's like, so one day I was actually playing online poker at like 6 a.m. in the morning because the game was really soft. So I was like 6 or 8 tabling or something. And then the next thing I know, I hear like a bunch of cops just knocking on the doors like, XXX, I know you're in there. We have a warrant to search for you, and we have the SWAT team here. And I'm just like, what the hell is going on? So I'm sitting here playing online poker, and it's like right in front of me, like right outside the window. I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna get shot here because they're gonna break down the window. So I just crawl under the table and start looking at my screen, playing with my wireless mouse, clicking all the buttons, make sure like I play all my hands because I got some good hands. I still remember I got some good hands during those moments, and the cop finally opened the door. Like the guy finally opened the door and then they arrest him. But like that neighborhood was really bad. I think like the person like living on top of me is like some type of criminal. The cops were searching for him, and the people to the left of us, we live in a four-let, so the people to the side of us was also a criminal. I mean, we get cops like knocking on our door asking if we see the people or not, and I'm just like, I don't know any of these people.
Did you ever get like? Did your family ever get caught up in any crimes? Did you guys ever get robbed, or did you ever get beat up, or?
I mean, if I was a criminal, I wouldn't rob my house. I don't know why people
would
do
point.
that. Yeah, so we live in a very bad neighborhood. So we didn't get caught in the crime. We didn't get robbed. I mean, my mom was actually very comfortable with the environment, just because she grew up during the Vietnam War. She went to Hong Kong on a boat. I mean, I don't think anything scares her.
Right.
So, I mean, she was chill with the environment. I wasn't. So I'm like, I need to get. So when we found the house that we like, I didn't even like negotiate. I'm just like, okay, I want that one. Just walk in, like, let's get out of here.
Right.
Where was it?
It was, the community I live in or the new house?
The new house.
Oh, it's in Orange County, California. I bought it in like in a Vietnamese neighborhood, but it's like well received. It is a very nice neighborhood. I love it here.
Wow.
Did you just? I mean, this is kind of a personal question, but did you just pay cash, or? I mean, you're a poker player. You don't have proof of income and all that stuff.
No, I actually pay a high interest on my mortgage because of the tax benefits or something. So I end up paying a mortgage, and then I leave a lot of the cash for my poker playing as well. I don't.
Right.
And that was it. And I'm trying to like pay it off as soon as possible.
And in fairness to
Gotcha.
Bret, the reason why Bret asked you that, and I know exactly why he's asking you this, is because he heard Eric Lindgren one day say, I know exactly why he's asking you this, because he heard Eric
It's always
Lindgren
in my mind.
show off his house one time, and he said, if you're a real poker player, you buy your house in cash. You don't mess around the mortgage.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. But then I didn't have like $6,000, laying around to just pay it down when I was like 21 or something.
Right.
So,
No, it's not necessarily, a true notion, but I know that got into Bret's head. That blew him away a couple of years ago, right? Bret, admit it.
No, totally. I heard Eric Lindgren say that, so I have to ask everyone. I mean, was that too personal of a question? Maybe it was.
No, not personal at all. I mean, I'm cool. I actually heard the story when I was in college, and I was like, wow. I mean, that's a lot of money.
Right.
So.
And you gotta try to picture that. Like, Tree. I mean, how old are you right now?
I just turned 26.
Oh my God.
26. You look like you're about 17, to tell you the truth. I mean, you're a young looking dude.
Yeah, it's good.
So you walk up to buy a house, probably a big house when you're 21 years old. They're probably like, who's this 14-year-old trying to buy this McMansion?
Right.
That's exactly what happened. So I actually had a very busto phone. Like, it cost like $10 or something online, and then my mom's like, you gotta go buy like a new phone, or else if they see that, they're not gonna treat you seriously. So I went out and bought like a really expensive phone, so they start believing that I'm buying this for real.
Right.
So your mom was super excited, right? Just to move into a nice house, a nice community.
Yeah. My parents were super excited to get out the neighborhood and just a very nice living condition for them. So I was really happy about that.
Nah, it's an amazing thing. It's an amazing thing. And so, okay, so this guy, I'm assuming did you buy the house like right when you came out with the book with Cole, or was it before that?
No, it was way before.
Way before.
I think it was like it's like a year and a half or two.
Wow.
Which to me is a long time in poker.
Wow. So all of that money was from actually playing poker or coaching?
No, I wasn't even coaching yet. I was just playing poker.
Wow.
That's just poning.
Yeah, that's so impressive. Okay, all right. So
I mean, just bet.
Yeah, you just bet. You'll have yourself a house.
That's it. Yeah, you bet all the way to the house. Keep bidding.
I love that. All right, so then you come out with Let There Be Range with Cole. It's like universally well received. People love the book. It's a smash. And then you decide to come out with what?
I think right after that one is the POO book, where I feel like a lot of people wanted to get to POO, but they don't know how. So I'm like, why don't I just learn it and then I'll teach you how? And then that's what I did.
Wow. And so,
smart. So
how long was that process? Take us through that process. What games did you start at? And then how high did you go before you felt like you had a comfort level with that?
Well, I feel like the best way to learn is to play against like really good players. So I just jump into like 5-10 PO heads up, and I was getting crushed by really good players. No. When I first got in, I was winning like crazy because PO you can run hot for like a few thousand hand. So I thought I was like a poker genius too, and I was winning, and then all of a sudden like I started losing a bunch of money back, and I was like, what's going on here? I'm supposed to win, but I learned a lot. And in heads up, when you have to play so many situations, you learn more, and then. After that, then I start like moving down the state to like actually get all the fundamentals down, and then I take notes on what I learned, what went wrong, and then I did that in the book.
What else did you use? Did you use any of the training sites? Did you use any books? Did you talk to people?
I used to. I watch a lot of Brian Townsend and Phil Gaffon's videos, and those are probably the PO videos that I watched, and I think that was it. I as far as like talking to people, I didn't really talk to anybody. I just watched the video, analyze on my own, because there's like pro poker tools. You can just look up the data, check out the equity. I mean, majority of the questions about equity, and you can do that on your own. If you ask like another person, it's just wasting the time. You can do it on your own.
How many hands did you get in? How many hands do you estimate you played a PLO before you felt like you were a proven winner and that you were competent enough in the games that you could write a book? How many hands?
I think probably like a few 100,000 hands. I don't really keep track of how many hands I play. I play and then I play. I don't really look at EV graphs either. So but I know I play like a good amount. And the main reason that I was confident that I was writing a good book was when I was playing, I was noticing so many mistakes that my opponents make. then so I know I have a really big edge. I think in No Limit Hold'em nowadays, when you look at it, you don't spot as many mistakes that your opponents make, so it's tougher to make money. But in PLO, people make it left and right. I'm sure I make them too, but hopefully less than my opponents. So that was it. That was the PLO story.
Why don't you share one or two of those classic mistakes that you see all the time, Tree, for some guys like Bret and I?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the classic mistake is like folding too much in a pot, because PLO equity runs so close that sometimes when the flop come, there's nothing you can do but bet call. What I initially did was a huge mistake, is that I would re-raise P-flop, I would bet on the flop, and a really aggressive player would just go like shove, which is basically like all in, and I would just fold. But looking back, I should have just like bet call all the time, just because I'm getting like 2-to-1 odds. My majority of the time I'm getting like 36 to 38% equity, and sometimes I'm even ahead. So folding is a huge mistake with so much money out there. But I didn't know that. That's like one of the biggest mistakes. Another mistake is like, the classic mistake where people overly play like aces, they would re-raise and then they would stack off too light on the flop where they bet and they call it off against like a really, really tight player. There are against some opponents where you have aces, you re-raise pre-flop, you bet. Sometimes you just have to bet call. There's nothing else you can do and hope to suck out or something, just because so much money is in there already. But against some opponents, you just have to bet fold. And I think when I first learned PLO, I hear this guideline like, play the nuts only, be very tight, don't overplay aces. And those concepts is stuck in my head. But I don't think that's the right way to play it with those concepts. If you take it too hard, too much, you end up like folding way too much. You're leaving too much dead money out there. You're not fighting in full pots. And the thing is, people fold so often that you shouldn't be like folding too much. You should be like bet more instead of checking. I think in PLO, in No Limit, you should check more. But in PLO, just bet. Just because like if you check, people are gonna bet, and you actually make people play better against you by checking. So bet.
Now let me ask you sort of a basic question. Say a guy has a few thousand bucks in his account. He's only really been playing Hold'em, and he's like, you know what? I want to jump into PLO. What games would you suggest that he or she jump into?
I think the best way to learn any game is to play heads up, but his bankroll is going to run out pretty quick. Especially if he doesn't handle variance very well, it might put him on life tilt. He might never, get to that situation again. But if you're confident that if you to lose a lot of money and, be very not result oriented about it, that you learning the game, you're trying to get better, then I would just suggest heads up, just because you have so many hands. And then I will play 6 max PLO. I'll probably play like 50% of the time and study 50% of the time. I think a lot of people make the mistake of just loading up like 12 tables and just like grind. But when you do that, you don't really think that much. The only time I feel it's beneficial to grind is when you have all the fundamentals down, you know all the situation like back and left, so it's just like autopiloting, which is okay, I guess. But when you're trying to improve as a player, by doing that, you're not really thinking, you're not really improving. You just autopilot on whatever knowledge you know previously.
Right.
So you're not improving at all.
No.
And
I can tell you from personal experience, I was a guy that, I had hundreds and hundreds of thousands of hands where I was beating, like, just say the No Limit 50 game, and I started grinding for a year, and then I couldn't understand why I was losing every month all of a sudden, and I didn't improve. The game passed me by, and I'm still sitting there mass multi-tabling, and it took me a year to figure out that I got to start over and learn again.
So cut down the tables, and I tell my students all the time every time they come to me with a downswing, I'm like, how many tables you playing? They always say like 8 to 10. I'm like, why are you playing so many tables? The only reason you're downswinging is, first of all, you're running bad, and second, you're probably playing bad too with so many tables. When you cut down, you get more reads, you play better. You just do.
Yeah, no question about it. No question about it. All right, so
I want to ask you.
Go ahead, Bret.
Go ahead, Eric. Go ahead.
When you come out with the PLO book, what was the pricing on that, by the way?
The pricing on that was $375 or $397.
Right.
Or I think it's been so long ago. It's been like a year and a half ago. I don't really remember.
But it was significantly less than Let There Be Range, but still tremendously more than a traditional book. Like even Doyle's book, when it first came out, maybe was $100 when it first came out. And you're like four times more than.
Yeah, I think Doyle. I think inflation adjusted it was like 200, but yeah, it was more. And to be honest, I don't really care what Doyle charged.
Yeah, right.
So
Right, but you figured out it works for me. I love the fact that you just said, I don't care that a traditional book's $20. My book is $400. I love that.
Yeah, I mean, it comes with the poker concepts too. Like poker concept, what they do like 3-4 years ago, 5 years ago. I mean, it might be outdated today. So for all I know, with publishing books, how much you price it. I mean, for all I know, the current model might be outdated. Who knows?
Right.
Who knows? So I just gotta go with my ego, my guts. So I don't forgive myself for not following through. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, I can always go back. It's not going anywhere.
Right.
The $35 paperback is still there when I'm done.
Right.
That's true.
Oh, one more question. Do you worry about piracy? We had Nick on from Mad Poker, and he said that there are these sort of like underground forums where you do have some people that exchange information, and he mentioned specifically your book.
Yeah. I do have concern about piracy, and we use like a DR system, but if they really want to pirate something, there's really no way to like prevent them from doing it. There's one positive thing for other book buyers is this. It's like if you were to pirate something that you didn't spend money on it, you probably wouldn't put in as much work on it just because it's free. It's like when I'm coaching my friends, like when I coach my students, they listen to like a lot of words I say, they try to practice what I teach. When I coach my friends for free, they're just like, are you sure you're a winning player? I mean, is this legit? I'm sorry, it's like when you get something for free, you don't value as much. So it doesn't really matter. Like if I were to buy a book and it got pirated, I wouldn't worry that much just because whoever got the pirate version probably doesn't put that much effort into it because it didn't cost anything.
Right.
It's a good way to look at it. Now, another book that I was reading in your blog, of course, his website, if you want to check out Tree's website, dailyvariance.com, you have a psychology book coming out. And we were talking before we went on the air, and I'm interested in this book because, I'm still a guy who, I start tilting, I start to think probably thoughts that I shouldn't be thinking, poker thoughts, and we were talking, like a lot of people apply strategies and a lot of people teach and learn strategies, but not a lot of people teach and learn tilt control and emotional control and the psychology of poker.
Regarding psychology is really, it's kind of really, it's funny because if you to ask like any high stake player, any nosebleed player, people's like, so many good players, what's their edge? I mean, majority of them like, if I'm playing good and I continue to play when my opponent play bad, I have a huge edge. And everyone knows that. Everyone knows that eventually psychology will overcome the technical part of your game. But nobody's willing to I shouldn't say nobody. Not a lot of people are willing to put a lot of effort into trying to fix the psychology side. Even though the game is all messed up, psychologically it's all messed up. But they won't put the effort into it just because you don't see it. Like, if you play bad in poker, you see like a negative number that's like, I play ace wrong. That's why I lost his hand. Or I should fall 7-2 offsuit because it cost me a lot of money. In psychology, you have certain habits that cost you money, but because nobody's there to like call you out or nobody's there to put it in front of you that, when you do this, you lost this amount of money. When you lose this, you lost this amount of money, that you don't put a lot of effort to it, even though you should. And lastly, nobody actually hold you accountable for it. Like, it's kind of accepted that if you lose money based on tilt, I mean, that's cool. Like, you don't feel embarrassed by it too much. But if you play a hand incorrectly and you lose money, then you feel embarrassed. Then you go home and try to play it better. Not psychology, though. Like, you go on tilt, you lose a bunch of money, just kind of like, I went until I laugh it off, and then tomorrow's a new day.
So give us a couple, just basic concepts that you jump into in this book. Like I said, it's not out yet. You said you're still sort of retooling it, and
I'm
hopefully it'll be out there soon.
I think one of the concept that, it's not really a concept. It's more like structuring of your daily life. I think as a poker player, I mean, nobody's holding you accountable for your schedule, your time, but you have to set a structure for yourself. So you have, like eating, playing amount of, like what time you should play or what time you wake up, what time you go to sleep. I mean, those sound really simple, but it's play a huge role in your win rate. Just because you're feeling better, and as a body, if you feel better, you would go on tilt less. And another one is that I didn't think about is that's my brother told me is you have to forgive yourself. You know how like you make a mistake at the table, the only thing that you can think of is like, man, God, I suck, or like, why did I do that? Why did I make that mistake? I'm such a bad player. And then you start to get down with yourself, and it gets keep building up. Whereas if you make a mistake, accept that you made that mistake, but move on. Don't linger on it, because there's nothing you can do to change the fact the guy already has your money. There's being sad or being down with yourself won't get the money back. What you can do is try to play better, but most important, just forgive yourself. It's poker. It's poker and it's money.
Right. Wow.
I mean, I live a good life when I was bust though, so I'm like, I'm fine with losing money.
Right.
So,
right.
What are some of the biggest downswings that you've been on?
I've been down. I've been like 40, 50 downswing. Like I guess.
Wow.
Which is a lot for like 10-20, which is like 80,000 or something. But I just kind of close my eye and think like tomorrow will be a better day. Take a day break or something, and just go on it. I mean, there's a reason why I got to where I am to this point, just because I had an edge, and I believe in myself. Because a lot of people weren't in that situation as me, so that's what I tell myself all the time to motivate me if I'm ever down. And I just believe that tomorrow will be a better day. It can't get any worse.
Right.
I mean, it can, but not highly unlikely to get worse.
Right. Amazing outlook. If people want to follow you online, like what games are you playing?
I'm actually playing. I actually don't play online as much right now, just because of Vegas. But I play on POO on PokerStars. Play on from 3-6 all the way to like 10, 20, 25, 50. Just depend on what games are running.
Do you have any desire to try to get to that level that CTS and some of these other nosebleed players are?
No, the biggest desire is for me to just make like a huge amount of money. Not because like I love money that much. It's like a score for me. And I don't think playing poker will get me there, even if I'm the best player in the world. I just think that owning a bunch of companies is the way to go. So.
What other companies do you have besides your publishing company?
I have a publishing company. Me and a friend are actually starting up like a small software company. It's off the ground right now. We're still having like 2 or 3 programs in store that I think will help like a lot of multi-tablers. And then we'll go from there. I really don't know what happened next.
Wow.
But that's what's going on.
Look at this. Look at this guy, Bret. He's got the motivation. He's got everything.
I got it from Billy. I got to give shout out to Billy.
How do you know Billy?
Billy.
Just from playing?
No, it wasn't from playing. I actually I was talking to Billy like 2 years ago before he launched like Blue Fire Poker just online, and then we met in Vegas, and then we hung out for a little bit, and then we started talking, and we realized how similar our outlook is in business, or how to make money, or just and we got along really well when we were in Vegas. So
now
really
nice.
Now you've been in Vegas, as you said.
Yeah.
I think Bret mentioned in your blog, you said you wanted to play in 10 events, and
yeah.
Yeah. So how many of
he's been through 2.
Been through 2.
Right. I've been playing 2, but I did I bust out in 1, but on the other one I cashed. So I guess I did okay. But when I come back, I'm gonna play a lot more though. I think because when I'm at home, I'm very the only place I like to party is Vegas. Like when I'm at home, I just like to chill, relax, do my work. Because partying not in Vegas, that's not the same.
Right.
So when I go there, it's like it's been a year, so gotta release all the negative energy. And
so where do you party when you're in Vegas? Where do you party?
I mean, anywhere that my friends want to go. I mean, all the clubs, like I guess XS, the Palms, Plaza, wherever. Just they give me a call, then we just go, just roll with it.
Wow.
Are you hollering at chicks?
I actually have a female companion.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
No, we do hit on a lot of girls when we are in Vegas. I mean, we're in Vegas, and the girls walking around, they're supposed to get hit on. I don't think there's other way to see it.
That's great.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's cool. It sounds like you had a good time.
No, I have a great time. That's why. But I had too much of a good time, so I had to flew back home to recharge a little bit before I go back again.
Right. Well,
So you're heading back. What events are you going to jump into before the main event?
I I don't know what event, but I'll probably just sign up for what event that's available when I come back. And like let it be like PLO or like No Limit Hold'em. I don't know how to play the other games, so I'll probably just jump into whatever event's available, play there, and then hopefully make a run or two before the main event. I'm prepared for the main event. Like last year, I wasn't prepared, but this year I'm good.
What kind of mindset do you have though? I'm assuming, do you not play a lot of live tournaments through the year? And let's just say you just typically play live events at the World Series. You're going to play 10 events.
Yeah.
It's still ridiculous, isn't it, to think that in those 10 events that I'm going to come out ahead? Are you playing more for the experience, or are you just hoping to get lucky? I mean, really?
I guess they're hoping to get lucky. I don't play for the I got my experience already. I don't need to play for the experience. I used to play a lot of live poker before I play online. So just hope to get lucky, just make a good run or two. And if I win a bracelet, it helped with the book sale. So there's more motivation to do it. So that's probably the main motivation to play and win a bracelet or something.
But see, again, this is another example of why you're successful and you just go for stuff. I would look at it. Brett and I, we have our own Junkies poker tournament that we do at the Borgata. We've had 8 of them, and I'm 0 for 8. Yeah. So I mean, I figure I'd go to Vegas. I could be 0 for 8 there. I mean, what would be the point? You know?
No, well, that's true. But you can be 8 for 8. Who knows?
Yeah, unlikely.
Good point.
I mean, look,
it's a good outlook.
Jamie Go and Jerry Yang won the main event. There's no way you guys can't do it. So,
seriously, that's an amazing point.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, a lot of people win the. I play a lot of the so far I played probably 5 my entire life at the WSOP, and the competition is really easy, really soft. That I think anybody can do it. Just flop a lot of sets, flop a lot of 2 pair of aces, and cool the shit out of everybody, and then win. That's what happened.
That's the plan.
That's what happened. No, that's the plan. You just gotta be on the right cooler side. If you have enough, if you run bad for a long time, eventually you might run good one time.
Right.
So that's how I think.
Yeah.
So you over.
It's a great outlook.
Yeah. Next time you have a higher chance of cashing.
That means I'm due.
Probability-wise, it doesn't work out. Yeah. Probability-wise, it doesn't work that way, but mindset-wise, I think that's how it works.
Right.
Nice.
I love it.
Just keep plugging it in. As long as you're good.
That's Tree Nguyen. Of course, his website, dailyvariance.com. Do most people call you Tree? They still call you SlowHabit? I mean,
No. They call me Tree. Tree's easier to pronounce. So, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Nice. Well, everyone needs to go to his site, check out his books.
Yeah.
And are you still up for doing coaching, or are people able to contact you through your site for coaching, or?
Yeah. I'm still doing coaching. I'm not doing as much right now, just because I've been so busy with the PO workbook.
Just charge more. That's all.
I know. That's what I was thinking too. But,
right.
and also because of Vegas, I don't have that much free time. But and also, for the PO workbook, for anybody that's listening to this and want to buy a pre-order, use the bonus code PS10 to get an additional 10% off.
Wow.
So
nice.
That might encourage you. Yeah.
Very nice.
Nice. Okay, so dailyvariance.com, the code, if you want to save 10%, PS10.
Nice.
There you go.
Tree, dude, you got a really cool story. It's pretty inspirational, and hopefully we'll meet you out in Vegas when we're out there.
Yeah, thank you, Brett. We're definitely partying up. So I know I told myself not to party, but when you guys there, I can't hold myself.
All right, perfect.
Nice.
Perfect. Thank you, Tree. Really appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, man.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, guys. Thanks again for checking out the show, the Poker Hot Seat on PokerStatic.com. We will see you guys next week.
Peace.
All right.